In the F-16 and F-22, depending on the mission, you'd routinely pull between 4 and 9 Gs. If I had to liken it to something in the CrossFit community, it would be like me asking you to go do a 20 rep max front squat with a tempo, like 3 to 5 seconds down, explode up, rest 2 minutes, and then do that again, about 6 or 7 times. It's the ability to look over your shoulder, grab onto what we call the tower racks and twist your body around and keep sight of another aircraft that's behind you, anywhere from 3,000 feet away up to 2 miles away, while pulling up to 9 Gs. So now your nugget, your head that weighs 5 pounds or so, now weighs 45 pounds plus a helmet. Despite rolling upside down or them climbing and descending, you're never looking inside. You're looking at the horizon, you're looking at them, and you're keeping track of them as you move through space. Pilot training itself is intense. I cut my teeth in the F-16. I was assigned the F-22 at Langley. I was tasked to be the weapons officer, the chief instructor pilot, to stand up the 2nd Squadron there. We deployed for what is called Operation Northern Watch, for Operation Southern Watch, and then that rolled into the start of Iraqi freedom. There was no doubt that I was going to fly fighters. That was it. When I was 8, we took a family trip to Colorado. We went like Estes Park, I think, but on the way back, we swung through the Springs. We drove from Kansas City and swung through the Springs on the way back and went to the Air Force Academy and watched the new meal formation, watched the cadets line up on the terrazzo and go to lunch. And my memory, probably molded by that picture, was that I was looking at those aircraft and saying, I want to go here to the Air Force Academy and I want to fly jets.
I met Jeremy like 2 weeks after I got out of basic training. And this is in Texas, and I met him at a gym there. And after a few weeks of us dating, his roommate had told me that, Jeremy had graduated first in his class at the Air Force Academy, which I didn't know. He was on track at pilot training to get into the fighter community, which I also didn't really understand at the time. But what he was saying was new information to me, because Jeremy just didn't talk about himself like that.
Most people are familiar with the movie Top Gun. The Air Force Weapons School is, in essence, the equivalence of the Navy Top Gun School. I will denigrate slightly the Navy Top Gun School, and that is more of an extremely short kind of vacation, advanced learning. The Air Force Weapons School, the fighter weapons school I went through it's 6 months. Getting to the point of being an instructor in an aircraft is kind of like getting a master's degree in flying a platform. Your time at the weapons school is kind of going to the PhD level of being a fighter pilot, understanding a much deeper side of instruction, how to teach, how to develop tactics, and then how to employ the aircraft at an extremely advanced level. 2004, I was stationed in Korea, Kunsan Air Base. There's a kind of a unique relationship between, I was the chief instructor pilot for the squadron at the time, and the young lieutenants who were there as their first assignment. We call them punks. And there's kind of a unique relationship between the chief instructor and the punks, spent a lot of time together, and I started working out with them. One of them, whose father was a general, friends with another general who started doing CrossFit, General Burt Field, all right, and General Idy, and it's General Idy's son, and just said, hey, I'm gonna do this workout today. And I'm up for a challenge, I guess, and there was things that neither of us knew what to do necessarily other than Googling, but back then, Googling for videos of those kind of things just wasn't really a thing. So we had CrossFit.com, the website.
This just in, you were looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot.
I was at Shaw Air Force Base in 2001 when September 11th occurred, and I have a distinct memory of that afternoon or late morning when it happened. I went home and was told to go to sleep and was called back in late that evening at like 10 p.m. to sit alert. And it was an extremely quick lesson for me as a young lieutenant. Here's how you go from being asleep, wearing a G-suit in a cot while you're asleep, to being airborne in less than 15 minutes. Normally, from the time you walked out of the squadron to the time you're in the air is about an hour. That was my first true experience of applying the training, and it was to stuff I'd never trained for. And that's kind of I can apply that to fitness as well, especially CrossFit, when it's, broad, general, inclusive fitness, functional movement, that concept. I understood at the time the basic fundamentals of flying fighter aircraft. I knew how to employ weapons, even though I'd never done them before. I knew how to do a G-strain. I knew how to run an intercept on another aircraft, but I'd never been asked to run an intercept on a low, slow flying helicopter or something like that, right? So I have all this toolkit, this set of skills that I can apply in a fighter aircraft to accomplish different missions. I know core to extremity in CrossFit. I don't have to apply that to a push press or a push jerk or a clean, right? I can apply that to the same type of movement pattern to put something up on a shelf or to lift a bag of mulch or, that kind of a thing. And the exact same concept applies in flying fighter aircraft. You have this basic skill set that gets bigger and bigger as you grow older and more experienced in flying the aircraft, and you can apply it more quickly and broadly apply it to a set of skills outside of just those tools. By the time we moved to Virginia, we had accumulated some equipment. We're all in on CrossFit, right? .com is where we live for our workouts. And we were working out of our garage, and we converted our garage into our first home gym. The decision to start the affiliate kind of happened at the same time that we decided we needed our level 1 certificates. Like we need something to back us up if we're going to be training people in our garage. It's almost an out of control feeling. You have more people wanting to come to your affiliate in your gym, and you're like, man, I have never done anything like this before. Like owning a business, I had no guidance, no instruction, no history or background, and I'm sitting there signing a lease on a shop in a strip mall.
At CrossFit Hampton Roads, Jeremy and I have been the main coaches for a long time, and we've had assistants, we've had help, but we recognize, he especially recognized that we don't have like what he would recognize or what he would have at the military, which is like a program that you would, teach the basics and then have them run through this, this process of development. The
mentality, which is appropriate for CrossFit, is program for your affiliate to the highest, 1.5% of your athletes. Well, if only 2 people in my gym fit that mold of the highest percent, then I'm asking my coaches to spend the majority of their time scaling everyone else. Now, there's a risk in writing your programming down in that you're not giving anyone a target to shoot for, right? I felt there was a balance. To write the CrossFit Journal article, Scaling CrossFit Workouts, for that specific article, I didn't immediately call upon like my military background or training. It wasn't a conscious thing. But what I did call upon was how I structured our upgrade program for our affiliate trainers and our coaches. And that's a very methodical approach of observing other trainers, achieving a certain number of hours of coaching, but also continuing education.
Really, does it have to be this long? Like, can't we just, but that's part of my, probably just this internal jealousy of his attention to detail. I remember reading it and I was like, I'm a little lost in some of these. Like I had to go back and reread because it's just at a different level.
A desired outcome of writing the journal article was affiliates would use that as a framework and apply it in their own affiliate. At least give them a template to write their own WOD plans or to think about how they're going to structure their workouts.
He loves coaching me, and I love when he coaches me. He loves, and same thing with Matthew, he loves to write workouts for Matthew. He loves coaching Matthew. Our time, our CrossFit time, even if it's not coaching per se like other folks, but just he and I together in the garage, at 6 a.m., 4 days a week, like that's what really like makes us happy and feel solid, content.
My military career, there was a lot of self-interest and pursuit, right? To fly a certain type of jet or go to weapons school. That was all self-driven motivation, like to do that. But I would not have done it without coordinating with Nicole and getting her approval. None of that would have happened without total buy-in from the family. And it's all in hindsight though, right? Because the kids didn't have a say in us starting an affiliate. They literally grew up in our garage doing workouts with us. They have known nothing other than watching mom and dad do CrossFit. Just like I grew up watching my dad run, right? That's what I knew about fitness and my parents. This is all they know. And now they come out and most of the time I'm writing workouts for Matthew up there or for Lily. Family is absolutely everything to me.